Bungie made an oopsie. This is a video I was hoping I wouldn't have to make, but I think it affects enough people to the point where I feel like I have to. It's kind of hard for me to do so in spite of all the recent things happening with all the dev harassment and whatnot. So I'd like to make this very clear off the rip. This is not intended to attack any devs in particular, and nobody should do that because that stuff is awful. So what happened is in today's TWAB, where they announced the returning raid date launch, which is the first Friday of the season, August 26th. Usually the raid launches are on a Saturday. That way it is more accessible to the majority of the population. But now they have moved it back to a Friday. And just because of all the harassment stuff that's been going on, I'll read the reasoning for it, but I'm not going to tell you who the tweet was from. The response, or the tweet, or the question that was asked is, what is the middle ground on making a raid on a weekday when the vast majority of people work Monday to Friday? And then the response was, because we also work Monday to Friday, and remember how broken Val was when it dropped? This way, if something like that happens, we can have all hands on deck without burning out our teams. There are a few things that I question in this, but I would also like to make it very clear that the person that responded here and gave the answer has no authority over this date whatsoever, so it's not like it's just going to magically change. The only way is that if it changes is whoever's in charge of that, which I'm assuming is a higher up executive at the company, comes to their senses and realize how many people they're alienating by doing this. But my main concerns here are, if we know that a Saturday has worked in the past, maybe it's not the best for our devs, but why can there not be a workaround where either you have like a Monday prior that you give the devs off, so then it's a Tuesday to Saturday work week. They're planning these raids months in advance. Like they know what raid is coming back. They've known for a while because they've been working on it. Why could this not be planned ahead of time? There are a lot of options that could go on here between shifting the schedules of the devs to make it work. The problem I have is with alienating the community. I took a sample size. I'll just show the clip. You'll see. I want to know how many people in my chat can't because of school or still can. Just as a sample. Let's see. That sucks. Okay, so let's end this. Okay, now what if it was on Saturday? So just as a sample size in my chat, I don't know how many people are watching. That 1 day difference is fucking over 40% of people. I know this clip doesn't contextualize things to the full proportion because my viewers are a fraction of the entire community, but I do think it represents that there is an issue, that there's a huge percentage of people that would not be able to make the launch on a Friday instead of it being on the normal Saturday, which it's been for the past however many years. And it's also really silly to me because Bungie's goal as a company, in order to gain new investors and keep their current investors happy, is to get numbers of playtime. They want people playing the game rather than on the sideline watching the raid launch. And these are some of the most memorable moments in Destiny, are these raid launches. Even if this isn't a new raid, it's still a world's first. People are still going to care. So they're still going to have fun. Hey guys, dumb content creator post editing effect here, just to make sure the point is clear that this isn't just about the world's first race. This is about the day one experience as a whole, not just the raid race. I don't understand why they wouldn't take the extra precaution and make sure that people are able to play, because that was the original intent on making it on a Saturday in the first place, is not to alienate people. They want to be as inclusive as possible and make sure that as many people are able to enjoy the day one experience as possible. It just makes no sense to me. And to go back to the tweet, for me to emphasize the fact that saying like this way, if something like that happens, we can have hands on deck without burning out our teams. That tells me that something like this is possible again, and the core issue of why that happened in the first place wasn't really fixed, which is kind of concerning. Part of this is just me being paranoid and being very passionate about the world's first races in itself, because that was a really low blow when that happened. It was very demotivating. It really sucked because, especially for the viewers, like those are peak viewerships, not only for myself, but for a lot of people. You have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people watching the game, and it is very impressionable and very important that it goes well. It is very important to leave a good impression for these viewers for a few reasons. A, They could be players that have never heard of Destiny before and might consider buying it. They might be returning players that are considering buying it. Maybe they're people that have heard about it and are considering buying it. And it's all dependent on what they see going on in the Twitch stream. When they see 50 to 100,000 viewers in any top given Destiny stream on these days, they're like, oh, what's going on here? This is crazy. And they get involved in the event and they see it's just absolute shambles. The likelihood of the game, the likelihood of them buying the game just plummets. And when something like that happens, it doesn't help the narrative meme that people have outside of our Destiny universe where everybody memes, oh, Destiny shit game, this, that. But obviously, it's our shit game that we love. It's a universal meme at this point, but the people outside of our realm don't understand that. So when they look in, they really think it's a bad game. And when they look in at the worst time possible when the VOW train wreck is happening, it's going to complete that narrative for them and they're going to think it's true. And as someone who's streaming that behind the camera, you have to sit and rationalize to people to be like, okay, this isn't normal, and I'm gonna act like I'm not upset about this, when a lot of people are. Like, if it didn't happen to me and it happened to somebody else, I would feel for them, because in a competitive environment where these world's first races do matter a lot to a lot of people, whether they're watching or playing, it just needs to go well. We need to take whatever precaution that we can to make sure something like VOW never happens again. Nobody ever wants to see it again. Nobody ever wants to relive that again. So here's the thing. This doesn't affect me personally, but I still feel involved enough to like speak out for other people who can't be there. I have the luxury of being a streamer and I can do it on a Friday. And I'm very blessed to be able to say that I can do that. But I definitely feel for the people who can't make it on Friday, because back when I was in school, I just put myself in those shoes and think, if it was on a Friday and I had to be in school that Friday, I would just be livid, because I was always passionate about the game even before I was a full-time content creator. And here's the even bigger potential issue that I see, is that if they don't change this date, if they don't change it and they absolutely go through with it, what's to stop them from doing it again in Lightfall when we actually get a new raid, not a reprised raid that's 6 years old? What is to stop them from doing that in Lightfall? And if they do that again in Lightfall, I can just imagine the depths of hell that Twitter is going to be from the people who can't make it to that raid launch. Because it's going to be hype regardless. But again, alienating a big percentage of your population just for the sake of not being able to switch the schedule around for one day, I think just seems a little silly to me. Again, I'm not Bungie, the company, so what do I know? Maybe there is a good reason behind it, but they've done it before. They've done it since Garden of Salvation, and that's been years at this point. And all of a sudden, things are just starting to change for no reason. Nobody asked for it. Everybody loved the Saturday launch. It made the most amount of the Destiny community happy that you could as far as time zones go for a release like this. And I really do think trying to make as many people happy in the community for these launches is the best thing that you can do. I'm pretty sure that was their goal before. I just don't understand why it's now changed. I would highly encourage you guys, if you cannot make the Friday launch now, if you could make Saturday before, but now you can't make it because it's Friday, make your voice heard and let Bungie know that we shouldn't do this again going forward. Please do not attack any devs personally. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I feel like I do. But anyways, that's really about it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.